Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of NASCAR Mount Rushmore, where I go through the Mount Rushmore for every track on the Cup Series circuit. And this week we're doing Texas Motor Speedway. They've been racing at Texas Motor Speedway since 1997, so I would assume that you guys know everybody that's on this Mount Rushmore, more recent drivers, not a very old racetrack, so no Richard Petty's or Cale Yarborough's or Dale Earnhardt's on this Mount Rushmore for Texas Motor Speedway. But let's get right into it. Let's go through Mount Rushmore of Texas Motor Speedway. And the first driver I'm going to name here, I consider to be the GOAT of Texas Motor Speedway, and it's Superman, Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson, 7 wins, 16 top fives, 1,152 laps led. He's the all-time leader in all those stats, plus he has 22 top 10s. Jimmy Johnson ran this place, Charlotte, a couple other places for Dover, I'd say as well, for a number of years. Anytime you came to one of those tracks, Jimmy Johnson wasn't just the favorite, he was expected to win, and Texas was definitely one of those tracks. He owned this place, 7 wins and 36 starts, very impressive stats from Jimmy Johnson. He's been on a bunch of these Mount Rushmores, and he'll continue to show up because he's a Mount Rushmore driver of the sport. Now, the second driver I'm going to name here on the Mount Rushmore, I guess you could probably already guess it, my favorite driver, Rowdy Busch. Kyle Busch with 4 wins, 14 top fives, 19 top 10s, and 1,069 laps led at Texas Motor Speedway. He's also had so much success at Texas Motor Speedway in the lower divisions, been phenomenal in the trucks and in the O'Reilly Series. Also had probably one of his most infamous moment, I would say, when he intentionally took out Ron Hornaday in 3 and 4 in the Truck Series race all those years ago. But he has to be considered one of the best at Texas Motor Speedway, and he'll continue to show up on these lists because he's Kyle Busch. Then the next driver I'm going to name on my Mount Rushmore is actually going to be his first appearance on a NASCAR Mount Rushmore, and one of my favorite drivers of all time. Also provided probably one of the biggest heartbreaks for me as a NASCAR fan when I was younger, and that is Cousin Carl, Concrete Carl, Carl Edwards. Carl Edwards with 4 wins, 8 top fives, 13 top 10s, and 691 laps led and only 24 starts. He has a lot less, I should say, starts than anybody else on this Mount Rushmore. And Roush always just seemed to have a lot of success at this track. Roush Fenway, Keselowski now, they've all seemed to find success at Texas Motor Speedway. And this was probably one of Carl Edwards, if not Carl Edwards' best track. It was definitely one of his best tracks at least. And it's good to see him on one of these Mount Rushmores. Of course, I wish he was still racing. It was heartbreaking for me to watch him retire the way he did. I'm glad he's kind of more involved with NASCAR than he has been in the past. And Prime's coming up, so we'll probably see him on Prime Video here in a couple weeks. But yeah, I have Carl Edwards on my Mount Rushmore for Texas. And then the final driver I have to name on this NASCAR Mount Rushmore, mainly because he's the all-time leader in top 10s and just overall really impressive at this racetrack and impressive pretty much anywhere he raced. But I was debating between this driver and a couple other guys, but I had to pick Happy Harvick, the closer, Kevin Harvick, as my last member of the Mount Rushmore for Texas. Kevin Harvick with 3 wins, 13 top fives, the all-time leader in top 10s with 25, 691 laps led in 39 starts. Harvick had a lot of speed and success here, no matter if he was with Stewart-Haas or if he was with RCR. It's just one of those tracks he just really had figured out. Similar to Phoenix, obviously not to the level of Phoenix because he was just unstoppable at Phoenix, but was still very great, fantastic at Texas Motor Speedway. And yeah, I had to put him on this list. I was definitely debating between him and Greg Biffle. I was wanting to put on this list because Biff was so great at Texas, probably one of his best, if not his best track. And then Denny Hamlin, another driver I was thinking about. And I do think that by the time he gets near the end of his career, that Kyle Larson will probably end up being the second best driver all time at Texas. I don't think anybody's going to touch Jimmy Johnson here. Jimmy Johnson was just elite at this racetrack. So one more time, going through my NASCAR Mount Rushmore for Texas Motor Speedway, the first guy I have is Jimmy Johnson, who I also consider to be the GOAT of Texas Motor Speedway. I have Rowdy Busch, I have Carl Edwards, and then, of course, I have Kevin Harvick. But let me know in the comments who is on your Mount Rushmore for Texas Motor Speedway. But for now, I'm Trackside Larry, and I'm saying peace. Peace.